रूस यूक्रेन युद्ध 3.5 सालों से ज़्यादा समय से चल रहा है और इस बीच हज़ारों की तादाद में युद्धबंदी जो हैं उनका वो दोनों ही देशों की तरफ से पकड़े गए और कई उसमें से छोड़े भी गए हैं। हमारे साथ हैं मैक्सिम, जो कि एक युद्धबंदी रहे रूस में, और हाल ही में वो पिछले साल अक्टूबर में छूट कर आए हैं एक्सचेंज के तहत, और हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए यहाँ कीव में मौजूद हैं। वेलकम मैक्सिम। माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू दैट please explain how you got captured on 21st of June in Bucha. What was the situation at that particular time?
We were captured in the east of the country in Luhansk region. It was not in Bucha. We were in the direction of Bucha in the springtime.
Okay.
But later on in June we were moved to the east, and we were sent to reinforce our troops at the village called Myrna Dolina, which is in Ukrainian Peaceful Valley. Mm-hmm. And frankly speaking, I thought to myself, it's not a good sign to go to war to Peaceful Valley. It's really picturesque village. It was, because it was destroyed later on by Russian artillery. When we went there, very soon the whole area was encircled by Russian troops. Me and 8 of my subordinates from my platoon, we had to move to the observation point to observe the movements of Russian army. Very soon Russians jammed our communication signals. It was very hot summer of 2022, especially in that region. Very soon we were out of water. And within almost 24 hours, suddenly one of the Ukrainian fighters of neighboring battalion came on radio saying that Russians encircled the area, but they did not close the circle yet. So if we go following his directions, we will be able to get out. We were very dehydrated by that time. We followed his directions, and it turned out that he was captured by Russians previous day, and it was all radio game. Okay. So he lured us to Russian positions.
It was a trap.
It was a trap. It was a trap, and then when we came almost to the forest, we realized that we are totally surrounded by Russians, and the only chance to survive was to lay down our arms, and this is what we've done.
Okay, so after they capture you, how they treated you, what options they gave you, and how you cope up with the situation during the captivity, almost 2 years and 2 years and 3 months.
4 months. 2 years and 4 months, right.
Okay.
Originally, for the first day, we were given water and some food, and then they recorded video with us. We had to say that we are treated nicely, that we are not beaten, that we are given water, we are given food. It was true at the time, and when those who made this video left, I was beaten for the first time with a wooden stick, because they wanted to show to all POWs that they can do whatever they want with us. And they told us this, that we can do to you whatever. Next several months we were kept in a specially designated part of prison in occupied city of Luhansk. We were not given any hygienic items, we were not given any clothes or shoes. We had food 3 times a day, but the portions were very small.
They took off your shoes also?
They took off our
Why?
shoes on our way to Luhansk prison, because Ukrainian military shoes are better than Russian ones, and they wanted to have them for themselves. So we were wearing just socks for several months. In total, in captivity, I have lost 30 kilos because food was really bad and we were hungry all of the time. Then they convicted me on fabricated charges to 13 years of imprisonment, and then I was transferred to other part of the prison where those accused of criminal offenses were held. They were treated much better than prisoners of war.
So they gave you the option to confess you the war crime, and what was that? Can you please explain?
Yes, they told me that either I confess to war crime, that I tried to kill local civilians, they convict me, and very soon they exchanged me. in 1 month's time, they said. Or if I will not confess, they will either kill me, framing it as if I tried to escape and they shot me, or they will put me with inmates who cooperate with administration and will order them to break me mentally and physically, and that I will never get out of there in my right mind and physically unbroken. So these were the options they were giving me.
So after the conviction, you got better treatment?
Actually, yes, because they treat those convicted for criminal offenses better than Ukrainian prisoners of war. And I was held already with those convicted for criminal offenses. And then I was transferred to the penal colony, to a prison camp, where food was better, but there was hard labor involved. So this is where I'm afraid, developed some chronic health problems, like problems with my back, problems with my legs, etc., which is a usual thing.
And you were also not allowed to cut your nails?
Not in first several months, no, because we were not given anything to cut our fingernails with, no, so we had to scratch them against the wall. Then situation became a little bit better.
Tell me more about the latter part of your captivity and how you got released.
In last several months, some changes started to happen because Russia started to incorporate occupied territories in its own institutions, and we already were allowed to watch Russian television, which was propaganda TV, of course. And then within some period of time, in last several months, we were allowed to write letters. Not to Ukraine, of course.
Okay.
But I had colleagues and friends in Russia and in other countries, and they sent me letters, I sent letters to them. And then in October of 2024, me and my brother-in-arms, also convicted Ukrainian prisoner of war, we were informed that in half an hour we will be sent to transfer. We were never told that we are going to be released.
Okay.
They told us that we should be ready for transfer, and they didn't tell us where. So we thought that they are sending us to Russia, to a Russian prison camp. But then it took us more than 24 hours in prison van. They took us to Russia. Conditions were pretty bad because we were packed in the prison van. We could not really move. We were not given any water or food for 24 hours at all. Then they loaded us onto a plane, military plane, and at the time already I was with prisoners of war taken from other locations in Russia, from all over Russia. We were taken to Belarus, and in Belarus by land we were taken to Belarusian-Ukrainian border, and this is when we realized that we are going to be free.
So in our conversation prior to this interview, you told us that you were not in the armed force service, but you took Kalashnikov to save the humanity. So what was the situation when you joined the armed force to fight to defend Ukraine?
When the full-scale invasion of Russia against Ukraine started, I was dealing with human rights for many years already. And I understood that if Russia wins, all our human rights work will be just destroyed, erased to the ground, and everything we have achieved in the area of human rights would be just erased to the ground. Unfortunately, there was only one means to defend human rights in Ukraine, was to resist Russian occupation, to defend independence of Ukraine, and this is when I realized that if I'm a human rights defender, I have to defend human rights and I have to take up Kalashnikov rifle.
So my final question is that, what was your feeling when you got released? How you reacted?
It was incredible. It was totally incredible. We were exhausted by this very long trip. And I think there was one good moment about it. Understanding, realization that we are free came gradually. It came in waves. Because I think if we realized that we are free in 1 second, that would be too overwhelming. But these were waves of happiness, really, and I couldn't really even find words. But I also was worried that I wanted other Ukrainian POWs who stayed in the colony to learn that it was not a transfer, that it was a release. It would give them hope that they are going to be released.
So how many of them is still in the captivity, if any?
More than 40 in Luhansk region when it comes to convicted POWs. And at least in 2024, there were several hundreds of POWs who did not have any criminal charges.
Okay, so after the release, you would like to join again the military, or you left military?
I decided to leave the armed forces because I have a lot of advocacy work at the moment for Ukraine internationally, and when you are in the armed forces, it is difficult to travel abroad. And also, I want to go back to human rights work because we have a lot of things to do in this area.
You find yourself fortunate that you are alive, you are back in your country.
Yes, I'm really fortunate, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful to God, and I'm grateful to all those wonderful people who fought for me and who tried to make my release possible. I'm so grateful.
Even some people fought for you in Russian side, the human rights
Yes,
people.
yes.
And you are thankful to them also.
Of course.
Thank you talking to us.
Thank you very much.